Alrighty, I hope you guys can hear me. Give me 1 second. Cranberry, my friend, good evening. Good to see you, buddy. Let's see if Numinix is here. Numinix wanted to jump on the stream, so we're gonna have a guest on the stream today. I don't know if Numinix is around, so let's see. Lonely, good evening, buddy. How you doing? Oh, you're here. So Numinix, let me figure out how to bring a guest to a Twitch stream. I've never done that. Joining a stream as a guest session. Okay, let's see. Once a creator sends an invite, the invited guest will receive a notification in their inbox. Now, if okay. No, I have to invite you here, bro. I want to invite you to the stream, dude. I don't want to do that, man. Okay, let me collaborating. Give me 1 second. Let me just figure it out. Wait, I need to figure out how to send an invite. Wait. Creator dashboard, maybe. Stream manager, maybe. All right. Stream together, maybe that's, yeah. Streaming is better together. Bring guests. Okay, got it. Found something. Backstage activity will be recorded for safety. Cool. Ah, okay. Invite guests. What is the bad news? I mean, I have access to it. Let's try it, man. I wanna give it a shot. I got you. Okay, I'm sending you an invite now. Okay, I've sent you an invite. Craft, good evening, friend. I'm gonna Lonely, give me like 2 seconds. My opinion is very good on it. Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, let's just see, because I don't know if I need to join this thing or I can also use my OBS. It's unclear right now. Because it's asking me to use the browser, which is like super weird. So give me a set. Add sources and streamings. Add your browser source to include any stream together session. Set up browser sources. Okay. Oh. Share your stream together experience in your stream by adding a browser source to your preferred streaming. All right, give me a second. Give me a second here. I'm actually quite excited. It's pretty cool. We've never done this, right? Never done this before, so that's great. Browser guests on air, whatever. All right, copy the group browser source URL in your, create a new browser source, then paste the copied URL. All right, I just did that. So what now? What now? Numinex is getting ready, okay? Nice, okay. I can see Numinex now. Give me 1 second. Show on stream. Yes, push guest. Nice. Here he is. All right, cool. Give me 1 second. Need to turn off the music. 1 moment. Because I can't hear him or anything. Numinex, are you saying anything? Oh yeah, I can actually hear you a little bit, but you're very low. Okay. I don't know if you want to share your camera, man. But okay, wait. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, it's can you guys hear Numinex? Can you hear him? And I guess he's gonna share. Yeah, there is a share screen here.
I see.
Yeah, can you share it now and share, and then we see. Okay, and then what I'm gonna actually do? Wait a minute. So I'm gonna go create something like this. Like I'm gonna create a new thing called guests. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. 1 moment. I'm gonna just. I need to configure something very quickly here. So guests, sources, I'm going to paste this thing here. And then I'm going to actually so let's increase the oh, you hear us double. Okay, shit, that's not good. Wait, do you hear me well? Oh, actually, wait, let me mute this crap for me. Turn my call. Okay, so you should be able to hear me normally now, right? I guess you should be able to hear me normally now, right? Test. I mean, I should not be okay. It should be perfect, not okay. So we need to be more specific. But he is very quiet. Yeah, exactly. I can't hear him now at all. I don't know, Numinex, if you're saying anything. Yeah, I can't hear him at all. Yeah. Wait, let me just set this up so we can see what he wants to show. Numinex, can you write on Discord or whatever, because we can't hear you. Yeah, exactly. I can't hear anything he's saying. All right, Numinex, and let's do another thing very quickly here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say image media source image. Let's add an image. Let's add a BG123. Okay. I'm gonna choose some background. I'm gonna go to wallpapers, maybe. Cool. All right. Let's put this all the way down. Yes. BG, yeah. Let's do this. Transform. Fit the screen. Nice. Okay, cool. Numinex, are you there? Numinex, we can't hear you nor see your screen. Yeah, this wallpaper is like a little bit too radical for our chat. Let's change this to something else. Maybe this.
I cannot hear you, Derek. Can you unmute Derek?
Yeah, now we can hear you, I guess. Can you guys hear him as well? Can you hear me, Numinex? Poor Numinex. Can barely hear him. Yeah, it could be. Oh, actually, wait. Let me do one thing. Numinex, can you say something? I know what I have to do. I guess I have to, because I'm routing this through my own OBS now. So technically, you won't hear me on collab. You will hear me on the stream. Yeah, I don't know. We need to configure this thing properly, right? But it doesn't matter. Interesting. Okay. Preview stream output. What is this? No, yeah, but I don't want to do that. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's better. Yeah, but then that complicates things even more. Because I mean, I literally streamed today because of Numinex, so I wasn't. I was hoping it's gonna be less complicated than needing to spend a few minutes on this, right? But it doesn't seem to be.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can. Can you hear me? Hello, Numinex.
I have you on the second browser.
Okay, yeah. So it's not a great setup. Yeah, we can hear him now. Okay, so they can hear you now. So that's good. So that's some progress for sure.
It's so scuffed, I can hear myself.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's a little bit weird now. Right. So what can we do to? I mean, we could in theory jump. Okay, so listen. Let's maybe jump on Discord, and then I'm gonna mute the sound from your share screen. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Okay, I'm gonna mute this audio, and we jump on Discord now.
Yeah.
All right, he's muted now. Or at least I hope he's the only one muted. Yep, exactly. And then we jump on Discord. I'm gonna go voice channels, general. Yes. All right, I'm on general now. All right, sorry guys. I think this should hopefully work now. Let's see. Numinex, join general. Twitch chat. What is this? Wait a minute. Guests. Okay, guests on air. C22. No, I don't care. I mean, people can join if they want. It's just, where is poor Numinex? Oh my god. What a noob. Let me just insult Numinex before he gets on. He didn't turn any software and he wants to join a live stream. Jesus Christ. So unprepared. And he wrote to me 2 hours ago. I'm like, this guy is fully prepared with PowerPoint presentations, with everything. I was like, this is it. This is his moment in life. He's going to be seen by 20 live people, by 20 people on air. He's going to become famous. 20 random people who will never come back to the stream will see him, right? That's what I was thinking. And what do I get for that? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So lazy. Hi, don't call me a random. There we go. All right, you're not a random. You're definitely not a random. So unprepared, man, right? I gave him an opportunity to become famous on Twitch. I'm a penguin, exactly. Numinex, so unprepared, so unprepared. So unprepared, Numinex. What happened? Oh my god, he left the other thing. He left the stream. No guests are shown. Jesus Christ. All right, hopefully he's gonna connect soon. Probably turning on his computer. He's gonna talk about Rust, actually. No jokes. He's gonna be talking about Rust. Actually, he self-invited himself to this stream. I actually can't give a crap about Rust, but you know, he wanted to speak about something, and he's been watching my stream for so long. So I'm like, all right, let's give a guy a chance, right? Even if it's about Rust, right? So, you know, who cares? Let's give him a chance. Give me 1 second. I need to guests, right? Yes. Rounded camera, yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So awesome. Okay, that's what I meant. Okay, cool. Seaplane, good evening, buddy. Good to see you. We're waiting for Numinex to join again. I think he basically gave up under pressure. Lil Vlada, I love you, man. Few more weeks, dude. Few more weeks. Numinex. So the next guest that I'm ever gonna have on the stream better do everything opposite of Numinex, okay? Everything opposite of Numinex, all right?
Oh,
He is here. There he is. There he is.
every time there is something to do with audio and Linux, it simply doesn't work.
I told you to use real operating system, not Linux, but you know. All right, it's okay. I told you use a real operating system, and what do? You use Arc, right? I mean, come on.
No, I don't use that.
All right, join this other thing. Do you still have the invite? It says okay.
Yes, I have it.
Nice. You see, guys, this is, you know, this is a perfect example of a person using an operating system that requires programming before they can even join a video call, right? He had to write a new driver for his microphone so he can actually have a chat with me. That's how it is. All right. All right. It's okay. Yes. All right, OS. All right, getting ready. I can see it here. Oh, there we go. Did he join?
Okay.
Did he or did he not join? Yes. Guests on air.
There. So where are you going to mute me? On Discord or there?
Wait. Let me see it because we don't see your screen now. Guests on air. What the fuck? Local file. Wait. Why can't we see your shit? Wait. Browser source. Wait. Maybe I need to copy this crap again. Set up my browser sources. Ah, crap. Okay, wait. Maybe I need to. It's so hard, man. Yeah, it's so weird. We can't see we can't see the source anymore. Wait. Let me just maybe nuke it and add it again. So browser source guests 2. Bam. All right. Yeah. Oh, share and stream. Okay. Jesus Christ. Why? Okay. There we go. Okay, Numinex, can you try sharing your screen now?
Yeah, very.
Let's see. Guests too. No web Spidey. Good evening, buddy. And let me see. So Numinex. Yeah. No. Oh, okay. What the fuck is that? How? Yeah, I mean, oh, okay. It's shown stream. So there's like, what heck is that? So how come that? Oh, have you joined like twice or something like that? Wait, give me a second. Yeah, I mean, disable stream together. Mute. Pin guest. Pin guest. Jesus Christ, man. Okay, give me a second. Remove from stream. Maybe remove this one. And browser source. So messed up, man. Yeah, it's so weird, guys. I mean, like, guest slot 1. Disable pin.
Fun idea. Maybe I will start stream on Discord and let's skip this.
No, it's okay. Let's. I mean, let's. I want to figure this out anyway, right? So it's okay. We need to figure this out. Okay, wait, because I want us to do this more often. I mean, why not? It's just. Yeah, it does. So it's good. It's great. Just the settings. Wait a minute. Share your screen. So it's I mean sharing your stuff on the screen. It's just browser source settings. Interesting. Disable stream, mute. I mean, I can see your screen. That's the thing. It's just I don't see it. I don't know why is it separate from yours. So it's a separate. Include camera in the group output. Remove from stream. Remove. So you guys should, in theory, see the stuff that he's streaming now, but you don't. Ah, I see. Wait a minute. Can you share your screen again? Numinix. I might have found it. All right, cool. So what is this? Okay, I can. Okay, they're not sure. All right, so browser sources, screen share. Okay, Jesus Christ, found it. Give me a second. Ah, so hard. Okay, see, there we go. All right. The quality fucking sucks, but it's okay. Wait, Twitch chat, rounded camera. All right. So what is your computer resolution? What is your? Let's try. What is the resolution? 920 or 8? 920 by 1080, right? Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay. You see now. Okay, great. Progress. It's fine. So let's just increase the size of this so we can all see. And then let me make my ugly face a little bit less ugly by reducing its size. And then doing this. Okay, great. Whew, there we go, guys.
Looks like it can switch workplaces without teaching anything, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's great. This is good. Okay, guys, we made it. So easy.
Late start.
No, it's fine, man. We okay. So basically, what Numinix, thank you for jumping on a call. It's our first thing as such, so that's great. And yeah, Numinex has been watching my stream for a very long time, so he wanted to show some Rust related stuff that he's been working on for quite some time with a few people. So yeah, Numinex, maybe you can tell us what the project is and why you decided to do it, etc.
Yeah, so the project is something akin to Kafka, except it's written in Rust, so it's obviously better.
Okay.
No, but seriously, it's based on
Yeah, maybe for those who don't know, maybe to say what Kafka is and what does Kafka do, and then etc. Yeah.
so that's the major difference between.
So basically, it's an event-driven system. Pub sub, Kafka, RabbitMQ, and then you are building your own called Iggy, right? Or what was it? All right. Okay. Sorry. Go on. Yeah. No, honestly, no, I have not. No. I see. That's amazing. Okay, so basically, you're building a solution that's gonna be feature complete like Kafka, but it's gonna perform a lot better. That's what you're saying, right? That is the selling point, right?
And also other thing is that we have our own protocol that we try to experiment with different workflows like that.
I see. And you're saying, so why not test already with someone in production or whatever? What's preventing you to do that? All right, I see. Yeah, it makes total sense because, of course, you still have some features to build, and they were probably going to be breaking changes as well, right? Okay, show us maybe a little bit. But yeah, because I don't write Rust, and to be honest, I never cared much about it. Tell us a little bit your experience, because I know that you wanted to speak a little bit about Rust because you are the first one so far that actually has built something in it that I know. For the past year, people come into this stream. I mean, no, I mean, in this stream, from all the people that have been talking about it, you know, you're the only one who actually tangibly can show that you actually used it for something, and everybody else is just seems like 11 years old coming in mentioning Rust. But when I ask them, what did you ever build with it? It's like they just disappear. So tell us maybe a little bit about your experience and how was the learning curve and what it is that you like about it. And, you know, except the, of course, performance gains and stuff, but how was the developer experience? How was how was the learning curve and etc., right? So you basically, it's almost like you would for those who write JavaScript, it's almost like a service worker, right? You isolate that in a on a different process, right? Something like that, right? Is that when you say runtime, right? It's almost, are you saying that you almost create some encapsulated place where something executed and then they're like, how does the concurrency model actually works? How do threads Mm-hmm.
You can pretty much like replace the whole event loop from JavaScript, right? You are different implementation.
So it is like an event. So is it actually, is it parallelism? So when you say it's asynchronous or concurrent, how concurrent actually is it? Is it because in JavaScript it's not really parallel, right? It's just it's asynchronous, but as you just mentioned, the
it's both. It's mixture of both.
It's mixture of both. Okay.
Yeah, because in JavaScript it's like single-threaded language.
Exactly.
In a single-threaded language, then it's like mixture of both. And because there's like different runtimes, there's like different flavors of those things, right? Like for example, the current migration that we are going on, we have decided to switch the runtime to one that like supports like the server model better than the thing that we are using currently. So I can like go for example with like different runtimes. The one that is most popular called Tokyo. It's like the most popular is like pretty much like the get go for the asynchronous runtimes.
So
It's
basically, wait, you're saying that there's literally so okay, so a runtime is a library that you can choose from. So does it have like a STL like C++? Does it have some standard template library where do you need an actual runtime to be installed separately?
You need to install it separately. The only thing that's supported is the syntax, which is async await.
So you have an async await that implements some runtime by some standard, by some sort, right? So these libraries have to adhere to it, or okay, that's interesting. I've never seen that before. Huh. Okay, so if some of us started writing Rust now, so we would have to actually install a third-party thing to be our asynchronous runtime, right?
Yes, and there's like plenty of them, but the most popular one is Tokyo. It's like general purpose. I can go more in depth about how Tokyo works, but I don't know if like we want to go in this direction.
Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, maybe. But let's talk about so I mean, when you choose a language, right? You have to find a balance between productivity and constraints and memory management and safety and all of that stuff. So I mean, Rust is there, right, more or less to replace C, or to at least I would think of it as an enhanced C, right? So when you spoke about this learning curve and all of these steeps and it has a bunch of features which are unique, you can't see them anywhere. How productive are you actually now relative when you started? Like, can you now just say, hey, I can now build fast in Rust, I can build things? Or is it still like C? Do you still allocate memory manually yourself? Do you deallocate it? How does are there smart pointers of some sort or something like that? You get what I mean?
So yes, but first of all, I would like to slightly correct you, because Rust is a replacement for C++, not for C.
I see. Okay.
That confusion actually causes a lot of misunderstanding about Rust and a lot of I wouldn't really say hate, but some people mistake those things, and because of that, their picture of what Rust supposed to be is different from what they imagined, and therefore the language isn't really attractive to them. But
so it is still to a degree on a higher abstraction level than C, right?
It is.
I see. Okay, got it.
It is on a much higher abstraction level. Even though you don't have garbage collection in this language, you don't have to manage memory yourself at all. Everything is self-allocated, and the memory cleanup, the whole memory management, is controlled by a mechanism that's called borrow checker. It's one of the first things when you learn the language that hits you pretty hard, because as I've said, it's a mechanism that isn't really seen anywhere else.
But it is to some degree then some type of a garbage collector. I mean, it might not be literally a garbage collector like a general one, but it is some type of. I mean, as long as it helps you with memory like that, right? Then it is some automated thing, right? So it's not, as long as it's not manual, it is some sort of something that cleans up after you. I guess you need to be maybe more careful with it. I'll do a little bit maybe more manual work, right? But I suppose then it cleans after you if you allocate your memory properly. Would you say it's something like that?
Yes, the biggest difference is that it's much more performant because it's way less overhead than a standard garbage collection that has different generations that move those objects around. But you can think of it this way, but it's, as I said, much more performant. So the overhead from the memory cleanup that it does is pretty much minimal, till the point where Rust can be as performant as C++.
So essentially, but when you speak about these performances, right? How did you guys benchmark these things? So how do you generally let's imagine that I'm your CTO now, or team lead, or tech lead, and I say, all right, Numinix, you want to we want to use Rust, and you have all of these things like it's fast and performant. So how would you? I'm your CTO, and you need to come to me and actually show something tangible. How would you do that? How would you compare? And don't get me wrong, I fully trust you that, and I've heard this argument many times. I definitely trust that Rust is very performant language. But how do you? It's a genuine question. How did you guys? How do you measure this? How do you profile it? How do you what is the process of seeing these benefits, right? Because that is, I guess, the main benefit. I guess another benefit that I often hear is memory safety, which you can tell us a little bit about soon. But it's very it is very radical claims, which are amazing, right? If it's truly that more performant, then how do you guys generally, how do you measure that?
Okay, so when somebody would ask me that question in general, I like wouldn't do the work myself. I would just like point to like bunch of like different benchmarks that exist on the web currently. There's like plenty of the resources, plenty of work that's done by other people. But when it comes to our project, we have created our own benchmark suite that we can every time when we do some like performance testing or we do some like performance optimization, we use as our reference point. We have created a pretty simple like benchmark suite that benchmarks the consumer and producer. I have currently extended it also with another feature that exists in Kafka with consumer group. I can talk about consumer group later on more if you want to.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so you have your own benchmarks. You will run
Yes.
those and then compare them against some other benchmarks, so let's say Kafka or RabbitMQ or whatever you actually are competing under quotes against, right? So that would be
Yes.
because the other benchmarks you mentioned, the main issue I have the main problem I have with general benchmarks on the internet is that the biggest problem with them is that you can literally find benchmarks today to almost provide benefits to almost any language. I can now go and find benchmarks where Node.js is faster than Go, right? If if I wanted so hard to prove something that's actually inherently wrong, right? So that's the biggest problem with benchmarks oftentimes, is that they benchmark different things. So, or, you can literally almost go and find any sort of twisted benchmarks that prove something that's actually not correct, right? So that's why I asked. But that's fair that you have your own benchmarks, right? So you don't just claim it. I can actually go and run that, I suppose, and see. But yeah, it's always hard. I guess my point is it's always very difficult to no matter the claims of the internet, no matter claims of everybody. You've been in this stream for so long. Everybody speaks about benchmarks, right? But you really see these performance benefits when things are used in production, when they're used in unorthodox way relative to the benchmarks and how creators of this technology thought of this, right? Because when you have a bunch of different things and people writing shitty code and et cetera, right? So, but okay, that's pretty cool. That's nice.
To stand for defense, I would like to add one more thing, but to stand for defense for the internet benchmarks about Rust, I would add that Rust uses LLVM as its backend for generating the assembly code. It uses exactly the same backend as C, as C++. It depends on the compiler that you use for C++. But most of the compilers use LLVM as well. So if they use exactly the same backend to generate the assembly code, that they should be approximately at the same level, There shouldn't be that big of a difference.
Exactly, because these types, right, then change the just walking backwards, right? Because the thing is, these types of languages, for me at least, and the reason, of course, I don't have, unfortunately, use for languages like these, like I used to write C when I was very young because I had some use, but Rust, Zig, and all of these languages, I just don't build software in that level anymore. But if I had to write, the main reason that I would use them would only be performance, because again, as you said, and probably you can tell us a little bit about it more, but for me right now in my line of work, quantity and quality of code are almost on the same level of importance. I have to push software really fast, deploy things, but these are not critical systems in most cases, so they can in fact fail, right? For these types of things, maybe if you're building aircraft software, right, you can't fail, right? So but yeah, that's why I ask about performance, because these for me are the main benefits of languages like this, and why I would sacrifice that convenience of language like JavaScript, only if I can gain at least X something, right? So if I would now jump on Rust, I would have to see a lot of these benchmarks to prove that actually, I will sacrifice my time and learn all of these new paradigms, but I know at the end of the day that I will, gain this true performance that I, critically need, and this memory. What about memory safety, Numinex? That's the thing I keep hearing a lot, even with this Microsoft failure now. I hear posts on LinkedIn, oh, if this was Rust, this would have never happened.
It would change everything.
It would change everything, exactly. So tell us a little bit about that.
So the memory safety is purely driven by borrow tracker, the mechanism that I mentioned. Essentially, it's because you don't allocate memory yourself, you don't deallocate memory yourself except by calling like a drop function, which is always guarantee that you won't like do something that's called double free. It can happen a lot in those like languages like C or C++. It guarantees that there will be no like hanging pointers or like other leaked memory. So that's the primary driver behind the memory safety in Rust. I should think about whether there are other features that make the language more safe, but like you've mentioned shared pointers. Shared pointers exist in Rust as well, but they exist in C++. So you can say that at this level, those two languages are the same in terms of safety, but the like biggest selling point is the borrow tracker, which I mean C++ has it to a certain extent. It has the move semantics where you can like instead of deallocating the memory yourself, you can move that resource that you would have to deallocate into like a scope of a function, and then this gets deallocated. Similarly, how it happens in Rust. But yeah, the biggest memory safety feature is the borrow tracker and the fact that you don't have to like allocate and deallocate memory yourself. So you avoid a lot of like really nasty bugs like double freeze or use after free and other things that happen in languages like C and C++.
All right, so that's interesting. So okay, so I mean that's good, right? I mean I definitely don't miss the days of C and you know I was programming also Cisco devices very long ago, so I definitely don't miss dealing with memory. That was the most painful part of work. I mean, not painful in a complexity level of code, rather something that I didn't want to think about. I find it ridiculous that in 2024, a software developer needs to think about memory, right? At least on that level, you have to think about memory on some level, but you know, making the whole software explode because you forgot to deallocate memory. You know, I back maybe 20 years ago that was acceptable. Today it's not, and that's what in my experience and opinion, that's what makes some of these languages less attractive, and that's what made these shitty languages, if we can call them, like Python and JavaScript, so attractive. Because they you know, their entry level there and the amount of effort you have to do to some degree in this context is very minimal, right? So a person can almost write code with no consequence of something, you know. It's very forgiving language, almost like PHP to some degree, but PHP is different. But you know, so yeah, that's what makes languages popular, a level of forgiveness that they provide, right? So it's good to hear that Rust to some degree covers these. I respectfully disagree. Well, I mean, you cannot disagree with the fact. The fact is Python and JavaScript are two most popular languages on the planet, and they're the most popular because they're convenient. So we're not talking about the level of, we're not talking about application of these languages. This is just factual. If JavaScript was 2 times harder, it would have way lesser. Well, actually, okay, it's the only language that runs the browser, so that also makes it, right, popular. But languages just generally that are convenient, or it's same with React, right? Same with all of these tools that are convenient and well encapsulated, and more they safeguard the user, more adoption they're going to have, right? So for example, AngularJS requires you to know patterns, dependency injection, modules, event emitter, decorators, a lot of stuff. React requires you to know map, reduce, and HTML, right? So that is almost the difference. So there's no question that convenience of a language and simplicity of the language defines its market acceptance and right. So it's very important for languages like Rust to at least some degree account for developer productivity, right? Because you can build the most cryptic language on the planet that works on assembly level, but nobody's going to write that because it's going to take 10 years. So Numinix, that's not the case with Rust, right? So again, going back to productivity, developer experience. So now after some time, you can be productive in Rust, right?
Yes, you definitely can be productive in Rust. And also I would like to correct a certain myth that exists on the internet that Rust isn't good at prototyping. Maybe it's not like the absolute best language at prototyping. It's like nowhere close something like JavaScript or Python, the languages that we have mentioned. But I think, at least from my experience, you can prototype in this language really quick, but it's going to be goddamn awful code that we never, absolutely never push to production. Like you can unwrap everything, you can ignore all of those like certain things about the Rust that makes it less error prone, and just like go full psycho pretty much. So it's not absolutely best language to prototype, but it's not like the worst.
I see.
You can get stuff done really quickly, but if you ask me to build like something that's like really like catchy, really like rough, I don't know if I would choose Rust, but maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. But it's not the point that I'm trying to make. It's like not like that bad at prototyping as people make it to be.
All right, and okay, that's very good to hear. And what about libraries? What about the so when I look at the trends, if you remember a couple of weeks ago or days ago, I made a new YouTube video about choosing a stack, right? And as you I'm sure know, Numinix, a big part of adoption of software is its ecosystem, right? So how about, let's imagine I want to build an API in Rust, right? And again, this is of course not the language that really covers that domain much. Same with Go, I mean, sorry, same with C++, so it seems that we have separated these languages into the areas of expertise, right? So if you want to build a API, you're going to use Go. If you want to build a low-level stuff, right, you're going to use C or Rust. So what about Rust? What about yeah? So let's say that I actually want to write some microservice for programming network. I want to build an API, regardless of the reasoning. Let's just say for fun, right? Because I don't need that level of low memory usage or CPU. But let's imagine I wanted to do it. How would that look like? What would I do? How would that look like? And how about the community support?
Well, the amount of like libraries which are called crates in Rust have like grown like dramatically since like a few years ago. I've been watching like a talk. It was about on RustConf. It was on, I don't remember where. But it was a talk that was given by one of the from the Rust Foundation that's working on the crates.io, which is their like package manager. And he has shown graph where they are having like pretty much an exponential growth of download of the crates. So there's a lot of people being interested into, and there's a lot of crates that being developed as well. So, but coming back to the question, how would you build an API? There's like, I don't know, you can't really like count how many different HTTP frameworks there are there, or not even frameworks, just like simple like HTTP clients. If you don't need like a whole web framework, the one that's like most popular, the one that we are using, is called Axum. It's like almost like a, yeah, it says that it's full web application framework, but it isn't really like a full application, full web framework. I'm sorry. You can use it to like build APIs really easily. There was the other one that was called Rocket that is a web framework as well that you can use to build APIs. And there was another one that was work in progress but looks really promising because it tries to, with the APIs that it expose, it tries to be like ASP.NET Core. I don't know if you have written ASP.NET Core, but I forgot his name.
Yes.
Forgot his name, but it was I forgot. I saw it on presentation, but I forgot his name. And it's currently like work in progress, where those are already pretty much like yeah. I don't know if they are really in version 1.0, but they are more or less feature complete. They claim to be web frameworks, but they aren't really like a complete web frameworks. But you can use to build like APIs easily with those. You get all of those.
But I mean, yes. But for me, like, so it has a basically stable HTTP library, which is great, right? The Rust itself, and that's all that matters, right? And then the frameworks.
You get all of the different like middlewares, authorization, authentication, all the different stuff that you'd require to like build like an API, right?
That's very good. Okay, that is very good. That's very good to hear. I think again, adoption is about community, right? So if it keeps growing, unfortunately, of course, again, if you go to Google Trends and look at the usage, of course, Google Trends there's no metric out there that can give you a full analytics into usage of a certain language, right? But you can at least derive some opinions based on the data about how often it's mentioned, how many issues there are, how many questions, how many jobs and stuff. So it's still that was the only kind of sour thing, if I may say, that I discovered when I also made that video and when we spoke about it one of my last streams. Like, for example, when I search for Rust jobs in Denmark, there's like one job on LinkedIn, right? If I search for C#, there's like 1,000. And this is probably going to change. Don't take me wrong. This is not a critique. It's rather just shows how difficult it is for any new technology out there, right? To start floating a little bit, right? Because it takes so much money, trillions of dollars for companies or globally to switch, and educate their developers and change the mindset and wait for the libraries and all of that stuff, right? So based on what you showed, it seems actually it's growing a lot. So that is very good to hear.
And being introduced to like Linux kernel helps a lot as well, probably.
Okay. So is it used for Linux kernel now as well?
Yeah, Rust is used in Linux kernel, which is like a pretty big thing, because I don't know, it was like 20 years ago or something, when they wanted to introduce C++ to Linux kernel. Linus said, no, I don't introduce that crap, but he let Rust in, so that should speak about the language.
All right, if that nerd said yes, right, then it's probably something. No, but again, I'm just being a devil's advocate here, right? I will probably learn Rust at one point if I need it for something, or if I see that I need some high intensive. Maybe one day, Numinix. Next time you can actually. Next time I expect you to have a camera on. Don't be shy, please. So next time we maybe build something together, and then we go top down approach. We build it and then we break the concepts down backwards instead of teaching us what a variable is and a borrower or whatever. So maybe we could do that at one point as well. Just have a whole stream where we build things together, and then we could use I don't know what editor you're using, but we could have some sort of a I don't know, some share server, whatever, in Vim or VS Code or whatever. We can both code at once, and then maybe even use your Iggy and see what we can do with it, right? Because that is also something that would be cool.
Yeah, I use VS Code, so.
Okay, good. Then we can just use the Windows share or whatever. Numinix, how dare you? A Linux user writing Rust using VS Code. Are you even a real Rust developer? I mean, guys, is anything that he said so far, should we believe anything? I mean, he's not even using a split keyboard. What is this?
For once, I use a software that works out of the box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, okay, but all right. So that's good, Numinix. I mean, it's you made me more interested about Rust than I was an hour ago. So that's for sure. So that's good. That's good that their library is coming up, and so that's very good, man. And how long have you been writing Rust now, Numinix? It's been a year or so, right? I think you've been here.
It's going to be around 9 to 10 months.
Yeah, so because you haven't been writing it when you found the stream, I think, still, or have you? I mean,
I haven't been writing this. I didn't even have a job back then, so.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. I mean, I might have even gotten you to write Rust because I was shitting on it. Yeah, Numinix definitely.
Exactly.
No, Numinix definitely knows what he's talking about for sure. I can sense the excitement about it. So that's great. Okay. So what else can we talk about Numinix in relation to this? Is there something
I wanted to show you one thing around like enums in Rust, because I think this is really cool, and this is like one of the things that I think if you build like enterprise software and you see this, you should immediately feel attracted, because you should see in your head there are different scenarios when you try to solve that problem, but the tools that the language provided you with weren't necessarily good enough. Okay, so
sure.
Let me open this in VS Code, but the browser one.
He's not even using a installed version. He's using the browser version.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Not a real Rust developer even. Okay.
Okay, so let me search really quickly for something. Okay, now that's done.
Maybe just zoom it in for us.
Is
I don't
this-
actually know. Maybe other people see it. Let me just. No, I'll zoom it here. It's fine. It's fine. Okay.
Do zoom it? Okay.
Zoom it in. Zoom it in.
Okay, I zoom it once.
No, that's yeah. It's fine. It's great. That's good. I think it's good for others as well.
Is it good?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Okay. So enums in Rust, as I have mentioned, they are like work like attack unions, except they are much more powerful than attack unions, because not only they allow you to like, okay, so when you receive an instead of server command, you either create it or you receive it as a return, or you just get in your hands a server command, you get this enum, you can pattern match on it and check which variant it is. So it can be either ping, it can be get start, it can be get me, it can be get client, and based on which variant you get, you can like perform like different thing. It like works similarly to like how in TypeScript you can have like a type that's string or undefined. So it's essentially like a union type. But unlike in TypeScript, you can attach an actual value to each of those variants. What it means? It means that, for example, the ping variant has inside of it attached a struct, which is something close to like a class, even though it's not really a class. So you can attach that. You can attach like a value, and it doesn't have to be struct. It can be like a other arbitrary value. It can be like even multiple values, right? It doesn't have to be a singular value. But when you how do I even come back with this? Okay. So
basically, so the enum is essentially as a hash table almost, with each enum, let's call it a key here, points to any data structure, right? It can be a function, an object, a struct.
It has to be like a type.
It has to be a type. Okay.
I'm not necessarily sure if it could be function, to be honest. Maybe it could be. I haven't actually played around with this, but maybe it actually could be a function.
But it can be. If not a function, it can be anything else, an interface, a struct, or whatever, right?
Yes. This can be. This can be anything. So when you match on this on the server command, when you match on this enum, you can get each of this variant, and you can get that value that's inside of that variant. So you can like model like so many different problems that you would have to otherwise solve. Like I saw people try to solve this, for example, like an inheritance, when they would like create like a base class, and they would have like a bunch of other classes inherit from it, and then just like use those like wouldn't even call this pattern matching, but like a cast to like certain type that you think you got, or even like you would do that in a try-catch clause or some other way that you can be made sure that the cast is safe. And then based on that, you would get like access to all those fields. Where with enum in Rust, you can just create an enum that would be like your base class, but instead of having like a base class, you would create each of those classes that would otherwise inherit from the base class, but be completely decoupled from the base class. So if like in one of those variants, something would change, that in a way where the base class wouldn't like fit anymore, you wouldn't really have to be like worried about like making that value null or getting around that like limitation the other way.
I think for me, right. So I think for me, seeing and hearing this for the first time, there are two feelings I have. One feeling is that, yeah, I agree that this, my brain cannot now find too many use cases at this moment where I'm going to use it, but I can understand that it's powerful too. The other thing is that it definitely feels different, right? So it almost doesn't feel like an enum, feels like something else, right?
Yeah, it's much more powerful than enum.
Yeah, because generally you would expect an enum to be something very primitive and very stupid, right? You know, a number or a string or something. So now basically you're saying, hey, any of these can actually be really almost anything, any type, right? So get clients can be an point to some interface or whatever. Get user might be a string, right, as well, or whatever, right?
Yes.
so that just means two things. One has to kind of get used to it, right, and understand. Actually, yeah, I mean, yeah. Is there any example you can show us? Like, if not, it's fine. Is there any example where you can show us, like?
So, for example, there's what I work in a medical domain at my like current job, and we'll have like a system that's responsible for like handling like different like pharmaceutic products. There are like a bunch of like different types, and you could have an enum that would be called product type, for example, right? And you would have like a standard product, which would have like standard product struct in it. You would have like high value product, which would have a high value product. You could have like, I don't know, there was like a bunch of like other types, like non-consumable product, etc. So you could have like a bunch of those different like product types. And the way I saw this being modeled is you would have like a abstract class product that we call base product, that would have like some basic stuff like ID, name, etc. And then you would have like bunch of like class that would inherit from it, that would like extend it and add those features that are specific, for example, like standard product or high value product or non-consumable product. So the problem with that solution is, first of all, that you use like inheritance, and we all hate inheritance. The second one is that you are coupling yourself to this base product class. For example, if one of those, for example, like high value product, all of a sudden wouldn't require something from the base class, you would have to set that to null, or you have to like search for like other way to like deal with it. So you would like kind of break the contract of the like base class for that one particular use case. Where with enum, because each of those like a separate struct, it's like struct standard product, you would have to type some code. You would have to like duplicate some code, right? So you would have to use those two fields, that int and name field that you would get from base product via inheritance. But the advantage that you get, that you are like completely decoupled from the base class, and you have like complete control over each of those structs and what they contain.
All right, so I mean, inheritance we can agree with. I mean, I hate object-oriented programming in general, so I have nothing to add there, and I would completely ban that pattern overall. So that there we agree, right? Here, it feels almost like this enum has been used as a mixture of I don't know. My brain, I understand it. My brain just doesn't look at it as an enum. It looks at it almost as something else. I don't know what else.
Yeah,
but I
really
get it,
weird,
and I would.
It's really weird that it feels when you look at this.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, we are all used to enums again just being plain dub, right? So let's see the comment of Lenzo. You basically define a group of structs using an enum, and you can then set a function to only accept a struct. Specify a group in this case. I think he wrote it well. So you basically define a group of structs using an enum, and you can then set a function to only accept a struct from the specified group, in this case product type. I don't know, maybe. But okay, so this is basically one of the features that's let's say a little bit different, or a little bit more different than what we're used to, right? So we would So we would need to see idiot level example for us who have never used it, right? So of course let's not go into details, because of course we would we need to build something to find for that to click really fully. But
yes, and looking like implement methods on this, there's like nothing that's stopping you from doing something like this and implementing a method to that enum. So that's like another thing which makes it like really weird, because implementing a method on an enum, it's supposed to be like a stupid object, but all of a sudden it has methods on it.
Yeah, exactly. So we can see that the definition of these constructs or these keywords in a language are different, right? because you would need to give us an example, almost as if you would explain object-oriented programming. I personally hate inheritance. I'm not sure if nominate. Actually, hate is a hard word. I don't hate anything, but I think object-oriented programming, as the design since dawn of time, has been flawed because you are predicting too many things. You are making assumptions that are more likely to be wrong in the future, right? So it's not inheritance itself that is a problem. It is the assumption, the absolute. So the problem with inheritance is the human nature of like, if we make a step back, I'll do it in 5 minutes. I'll do it in 10 minutes. It's easy. It's 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So the problem with inheritance is that it doesn't play well with human nature, which is mostly optimistic rather than pessimistic. So when you design software in an object-oriented way, your assumptions are made based on like, yeah, this is never gonna change, or no chance this is gonna. But then when it does, when things start changing, and you're inheriting from 500 different things, right? Then it becomes very difficult to figure out what's going where. So that is the problem, right? And then the hacks that you make to go around this make the whole software pretty terrible.
Yes, I saw like so many different like misuses, like complete overuses of inheritance that I just simply would want this pattern to be completely gone. And
yeah, same. I mean, think about it. Think about anything in life. I mean, when you're thinking about inheritance, think about anything in your home, right? I mean, sometimes you put 2 pictures on your wall in your room, and you're like, oh shit, this is great. Then you realize, oh fuck, I should have done this or that, and then it's just planning these types of things, planning the whole thing up front, something that's going to be maintained for 10 years, and assuming that it's going to just work out is very silly, right? So that's why you hear often, composition over inheritance, and for me, composition over inheritance is basically means writing way simpler software, right? That is the definition of it. Just trying to query functions, trying to write small reusable functions all over the place. This is the at least that's why writing single purpose functions is so important in programming, right? Because more narrow you can get and less side effects you can introduce, then you can write the code in any way you prefer, without worrying about, oh shit, this thing might change in the future, right? Because all of these functions almost are reusable units, right? So so that's good that Rust is actually not favoring that. That is great, right?
so maybe to like show a little bit more of this example, like for example, with this inheritance thingy, if you like create this whole inheritance hierarchy, eventually would create all the standard product, the high value product, the high non-consumable product. There isn't really a way for you to encapsulate a piece of logic that's unique to the like whole product type processing or whatever you would want to do, because you cannot put it on a base. You can't do it with like virtual methods, but you have to like write a lot of like duplicate code. So you would create like a virtual method there that has some like, it's like left completely empty, then you override it on the inherited classes. But with enum and with implementing methods for this, what you can do is like, I don't know, process something that takes itself. So
I see.
this,
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, and what you can do is you can implement a method that on this product type enum. So every time you get the type, you can encapsulate there each of those variants.
Yeah. So I think this
And you
for sure. Yep.
And you can encapsulate it inside of this product type, and you have it in one place. There's like no virtual methods, no overwriting. Everything is like.
I think it's amazing. I think just the fact that they named this enum is a terrible choice. I
would agree. I would agree.
I don't think this is, I don't know how would I name it, but they named it an enum. But this seems to be way more powerful. I mean, implementing a method on an enum is again. I mean, what is an enum? I mean, it's just we the best thing we can always do is use history of what we already know to make assumptions. So I might be, well, who cares? Right? Enum can be anything, right? Like, but if we it's just more if we go back in time of all languages that actually have enums, we know what they are. So this is okay. So create an enum. It's almost like a object itself, or that, right? I don't know. Right.
It's a tagged union that you can like attach values to it. So
Exactly.
it is really mind-blowing. But once you like get used to this concept, and once you like start using, you would like want to like use it everywhere. You like literally force like a use case for it, even though you don't need it. But it is really amazing, and I can already see like a lot of problems that people try to solve, like for example with like inheritance, that can be like so easily solved with this that I just would want to have this like feature in like .NET. But in .NET we don't even have a union yet, so.
But in a way, this is an attempt to not use inheritance. I mean, this almost feels like a feature that has been. I mean, the designers of this language are like fuck inheritance, right? So let's probably that's what it really means to be, right? Which is fair enough. I would much rather write code like this than have, like you said, empty shit tons of empty virtual methods and bunch of other stuff. And I would much rather even duplicate code if I have to. But then that is the problem when we speak about generalizing, and I know that's also a huge problem of junior developers, entry-level developers, or less experienced developers, or even some senior developers actually, is that this that generalization often and being too clever in programming usually is what leads to terrible software, right? So somebody writes this super cool thing that just solves everything, right? Because they don't want to copy paste one line of code or 2 lines of code, right? And that's usually, in my experience, no matter the language you write, leads to terrible decisions, right? I say don't be too clever. Just write code, duplicate it, right? Find patterns in it over time, and if they're truly patterns and if you can generalize something, then generalize it. So don't get obsessed by, I'm going to copy paste 2 lines of code in 2 places. Oh, that's terrible, right? Let me be too clever. Let me write this class or a function, right? So this is my experience, right? So there's nothing wrong with duplicating code and then acting on it if it's truly duplicated, right? But it's something that people have to not get obsessed with, right? It's way harder to maintain a what the guy Bjorn who designed the C++, he said, right? He had this code. I like my code. He has this quote. It was something like, I like my code to be simple and clean, and it's from the clean code book. Dependence is minimal to ease maintenance, and code as simple as possible, or something like that, so not to be tempted to do unprincipled optimization, right? So meaning, don't write some fucking garbage that nobody can understand just because you're clever, right? So just write things that are Zohaib, good evening. But anyway, so that's good, Numinic. That's, I mean, we know at least now that some things are different and stuff like that, so that's great. Does Rust have some sort of like Go, like some Rust playground or some nice way for people to try it and
I believe there is something called like this. I believe there is Rust playground, and you know what's cool thing?
But it's just a REPL, I guess, right?
If you go to docs.rs and you search for like any library, I believe if I type, I don't know, some one blocking, for example, I don't know if it's going to work out. If it doesn't work, but there are certain libraries, and if you go to the documentation and you go like to the example section, you got there here like a button that allows you to like run this example in like playground and play around with.
Okay.
But it doesn't seem like this one has added it.
Can you scroll down and zoom a little bit into that syntax? Scroll a little bit down. Yeah, let me read the syntax of this language. Yeah. Okay. So it's a little bit of C++ I see in there. It's that's a strange question mark at the end of a wait, I guess.
Yeah, this question mark has it's also like a no, it's really like a specific to Rust, because usually when you think about question mark, it's either like a condition, like the inline if that you would do, or it's like checking for a null. So if you like got like an object, you check it for a null, and you want to like bail out if it's a null, or like want to like return the null further. But
By
in
the way,
Rust,
somebody mentioned propagation. I hope that Rust is not using exception handling. How?
no,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't use exception. It has errors as values.
Okay,
which
good.
is,
That's okay. So
absolutely good choice.
like Go, basically. Okay, that's very good.
It's like Go, but unlike a Go, this question mark operator allows you to like really easily propagate the error further. So you don't have to do like this, like if r isn't equal nil, and then do like the error handling. You can
Okay,
propagate this to.
so it seems both is true, right? If you can propagate it, then it's bubbling somewhere, right? So it must have. I mean, what is the method? How does it propagate it in the stack? I mean, it has to either have some event emitter that it or something. It must be proper, right? Because in Go, I don't think.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
It does returns. It does. Okay, so let
I
me show
see.
this
I
in an
see.
example.
So it's gonna keep returning. I see.
So in Go, you got this like tuple of like value and r, I believe. Where in Rust, you got an enum because errors in Rust. Okay, let me explain to you too. You got an enum that's generic over two parameters. E is like your value, and E is the error. And every time you receive a value that potentially could have an error, you receive it wrapped in an insult of result. And in order for you to get to that value, you have to either handle the error, which is basically like do the error handling, or do what this code sample shows, propagate it further. But by propagating, you don't do like bubbling up, but you instead do like a return. So what this code essentially means is, give me what this function does, give me the value that it returns, or if it's an error, early return and return only the error.
So does this I want to hear about the community of Rust. So does this convenience, I usually, you might have maybe heard me before in my videos, I usually label things as convenience and lazy, and I find this convenient and lazy, and I'm not saying it's bad. Does this convenience, do you see it a lot used by the world? Because I feel this almost being abused a little bit.
It's way too abused. It's way too abused
exactly.
because of how convenient it is. Like a lot of people like don't really like harness the whole like power of like error handling in the Rust because of how convenient it is.
I'm recording a little course on error handling, and I assume that immediately the people just have a very hard time treating errors like values, and JavaScript is a great example where the beauty of JavaScript as a language, or TypeScript, right, is that you can write. So the main beauty and the curse of this language is that you can write it in any way you want. Even though, yeah, it has an idiomatic way, it uses exception handling, you can still at least isolate errors to your functions and then, still return errors as values. And yeah, sure, you might have some performance issues because you're now returning, let's say, objects or whatever from every function, but you can still do it. But people just find, that's why I asked about convenience, because I see that in the JS world a lot. Is let me just call these 15 functions and wrap it wrap it in a try catch, and what can go wrong, right? So I'm not I don't know, I have mixed feelings about this propagation feature, because I literally that's why I asked. Like, I knew that developers are gonna be like, oh, let's just someone else is gonna eventually handle it, right? And this this is even less explicit than JavaScript, which is almost worrying. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's almost like, no, actually no, it's almost on this, even though it's a very different way that on low level things are done. It's still like, okay, but where are we going to propagate? Who is gonna deal with this error at what level, right?
Yeah, so eventually you can like go up the stack to the like main function, and in the main function you have to like handle
exactly this. It's exactly that is pretty much how the JavaScript works, right? If you don't handle it,
except it just like blows up, but in Rust you have to you actually have to handle this. Like, you won't get real value out of this unless you handle the value. You handle the error.
I see. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see the rest. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I see the language. Yeah, I see a lot of styles. I see a lot of mixtures of languages that I used to write. So that's, yeah, I can understand. Yeah, yeah. So no stack trace in API response messages on error. Yeah. Okay, nice. That's very nice. That's cool. Okay.
It has first class citizenship support for test as well, so you don't have to like download any library. Just
That's
works
very
out of
nice.
the box.
Exactly. I think they probably saw that. Go, in my opinion, is still the most beautiful language out there, and I love everything about Go. So I see that these guys maybe have got inspired a little bit by it, because Go really shines in simplicity, errors as values, and yeah, having all of these libraries, assert, and everything else, format, and all of that just coming with the language. How beautiful is that?
Yeah.
Right?
Those things have to come with a language. Like in .NET, you have to like download. Not only you have to like download like a asset. You get asserts in .NET by default, but the standard library asserts are pretty awful. You have to like download like a library for that to get like a better asserts. But you also have to like get like a dependency for the test runner. So it's really tough.
The thing is, I see people saying Rust is not trying to be simple. Rust allows you to. I disagree with you, man. I mean, I think it does. I actually don't care as a developer what Rust is trying to be. To be very honest with you, I think that every language out there should try to be simple, right? So there's two worlds of languages. There's two worlds. So when we talk, this stream is business oriented always. I stream sometimes, and I always talk on behalf of value, outcome, output. I don't give a shit about language constraints or about philosophy, sweaty nerd dreams and stuff. Like I couldn't care less. I always try to make decisions and base my opinions on some mix of all the worlds, right? And the mix of all the worlds claim that languages, in order to be adopted, need to be as easy as they can be. And this is, when I say easy, I don't mean easy as in, oh, it's hard to learn how to use, propagate an error in Rust. No, I mean how tempting and so everything when it comes to a programming language plays the role. How good marketing about it is, how simple you can start with it, how good the documentation is. So I disagree that Rust is not trying to be simple. Every language, no matter the domain, no matter the problem it solves, should try to be simple, because right, so I don't think we need to defend it. I don't care. I mean, I've wrote throughout my career many languages, and I don't attach myself to any of them. Us as developers, we should care about two things: having jobs and being effective at building things, being productive, and providing value. So if you ask me as such person, every company that builds a language should strive to keep it simple. Why wouldn't it? It's not mutually exclusive. Language doesn't have to be cryptic to be efficient, right? So Go, actually, Rust as well is a nice language. It's actually not cryptic at all. So don't misunderstand me. But we have to separate these things, right? A language doesn't have to have some mind-blowing constraints to be simple. C is a simple language, right? Go is a relatively simple language, right? So we don't need to I think everything should strive to be simple. Why wouldn't it, right? I don't correlate that to any value for us developers, right? So sorry, Numinex. I just had to. Yeah, it's an interesting remark. It's just I don't think everything should be simple if it can be, right? So
yeah, there's been a lot of simplification made, especially around async in Rust in recent years. So they definitely try to simplify a lot of things.
Exactly.
But
because,
it's really difficult thing to do, because if you mark yourself as a C++ successor, which isn't a really simple language, and you want to have all of those features that C++ has, how do you do that even? How do you try to go for simplicity, but at the same time maintain all of those things that C++ has?
Don't take me wrong. I mean, I'm 100% with you. The thing is a lot of programmers, a lot of also less experienced programmers are detaching too much spoken natural language for programming. Programming is a language, right? And the programming should suffice the human nature as much as it can. So you're absolutely right, Dominex. I'm not saying that it's easier, or they should, and I'm not saying that it's not simple. The point is, simplicity should be always something we strive for, because programming is not some sort of a majestic, mind-blowing high thing for nerds or whatever. As we can see with the AI, with the LLMs, with generative AI, we're moving more and more as humanity. I mean, this is not my opinion. Think about it this way: 30 years ago, I mean, look at the languages we used to write and the code how it was, and look at the languages we write today. I mean, most languages are so abstract that You can almost generate them in natural language, right? So this is not about it's about accessibility is everything, really. Like, and again, going back to these top-notch popular languages today, again, they're popular because they're accessible. You can hire people easily. They're cheap to hire because there's so many of them. Entry level is easy. You can build something tangible very quickly in a short period of time. So I'm just saying, being a devil's advocate here, we cannot neglect, the importance. Let me just give a shout out to Fitzbro. So let's discuss that, Ivche, a little bit, right? Because I think I kind of understand you, right? But let me tell you. So it seems to me that you maybe, please don't. This is not a critique of you, anything. Please, it's a genuine discussion. I think you have a problem with one thing, and that is you are not the one who should define the quality of software. Users today are happily using software that they're using, and I don't hear my mom, my wife, my kid, my gym trainer, my ever coming to me and saying, "Oh man, this fucking shitty Chromium runtime, this Electron.js app that I have on my phone is so terrible." They don't say that. They use and they buy. They're gonna buy the new iPhone next year, etc., etc. So in simple words, what I'm trying to say here is that the business, the outcome, and the users. Yeah, but people know what they know, man. I mean, it's like if you knew what you're eating every day, and if you knew that your shoes that you pay $200 for are worth $5, then you understand what I mean. So why are you so concerned that the software that we write today is perfectly defined at the market that we sell it to? So I disagree that software, like we're no longer writing software for floppy disks. So machines today are powerful, right? So I mean, if we would write the software in the quality that you describe, products wouldn't exist, right? Yeah, but market doesn't care about you, man. That is the problem. I respect you for caring about that, and you can care as much as you want, but market doesn't care about what you care about. Your job is not to care about that. Your job is to care about building products, right? And if we would go back to these sweaty basement dweller times, or maybe 30 years ago back, and think that way, we would never build something and we wouldn't have jobs. Yeah, but this stream, man, is about reality. I mean, if you want to build software I respect that, but that's not what I'm talking about. Programming is a job, man. Like a carpenter, like working in a cashier, or like working in McDonald's. And that is maybe where we separate you and I. This is a job like every other, and you have to bring value, and you have to sell it to put bread on the table. And if you have the privilege to not care about that, and if you just want to, I respect that, and more power to you. But for me, this is a job, and I've been doing this job for 20 years, and I love it, and I'm obsessed by it. Clearly, I'm here streaming, but this doesn't not make it a job. It's a job, and I have to go every day at work, perform like everybody else. And we don't define by our own basement dweller values what the quality is. As if that quality is accepted by the consumer, by the user, the quality is good. And that's how it works, right? So if I was asked about the software that I wrote, oh, is it quality? I would probably say no. But then I'm not asked, right? If my CTO is happy, if the customers are happy, and that's just how it is, right? So this is where maybe we differ a little bit, right? So we shouldn't say that software quality today is bad. I disagree with that, because the speed in which we write software today and 20 years ago, we're probably writing software 50 times faster than we are 20 years ago. Because for every single problem on this planet, you have 5 million tools that solve it, right? And why do we have that? Because we made programming so much more accessible that you don't have to, live in a basement and code 24/7 to build something. And that is the whole point. The market has decided that what it wants. It has compromised on certain things, which is performance maybe, for the sake of building products fast. Take Electron.js, take JavaScript. Now you can put 3 JavaScript developers in a room, and they're going to build the app that works on mobile, Chrome OS, Linux, Windows, fucking whatever, mobile phone, right? 10 years ago, 20, you needed 30 people for that. The irony is the software that you're shitting on right now is the software that you're watching this stream on, right? So if you were a business owner, if you were the business owner, well, yeah, and you're not wrong. I mean, I cannot claim that you're wrong, but I'm just saying, for me, that is impressive. For me, the fact that 3 people today can build an application that works everywhere, for you, maybe it's sad. For me, that's impressive. And I find that amazing. And in 10, 20 years from now, it's going to get even more drastic. Actually, I need to say what Bill Gates said 20, 30 years ago. He said, I don't know, in few decades, everybody's going to be a programmer. And actually, I mean, not to sympathize with that guy much, but he actually said something that's true. And why the hell am I talking about this? Exactly because we spoke about languages aren't supposed to be simple. Languages are definitely supposed to be simple. And they will and languages that are not simple over the next few decades are going to have very hard time with adoption, with winning the market share, because they are not accessible enough. So this was how this discussion started. Like, languages don't have to be simple. Languages do have to be simple, yes, to some degree. So Numinex, I'm sorry, man, just a long discussion.
Yeah, so Rust is pretty much like an attempt to how to make these systems programming more accessible to like more people. So it's definitely trying to be like simplify a lot of things.
Okay, that is. I mean, everything I've heard so far, you did actually at least sell it to me. It seems like a decent language, and I'm very happy that the most concern that I had was about ecosystem and because, again, when I look at the trends there, but actually you showed me there's like 165,000. Actually, let me ask you a follow-up question on that, Numinex. Does the Rust team, or is there any kind of core community of Rust? So, for example, let me give you an example, like Fastify.js, right? What I'm using for my API. Fastify team with Matteo Colina and these guys, they have their own official modules that they maintain, right? So, for example, authentication related stuff, all the kind of core stuff that you need to build a full functional, let's say an API or a video game, they made. Is there something like that in the Rust community? Because you know yourself, if you go to npm JS, 99% of libraries are probably terrible, right? So how would you evaluate the library here? What are the metrics? Like, are there some names that build them, some companies? How does it work?
Yes, definitely. Like, for example, the runtime that I showed you, Tokyo, they've raised quite a lot of money. A lot of the engineers that build this runtime, they are working for Amazon, for AWS.
Nice, very nice.
So they have like a company back. Like, for example, the runtime that we currently want to use, Mono.io, if you go to there, it's backed by ByteDance. I don't know if you know about them, but those are the people that built TikTok.
Okay, wow. I don't have. I mean, I only have LinkedIn and Programmer Network, so I don't know. But that is amazing. Okay, that's very good. Like, okay, so companies, basically, I'm trying to get you to tell me that companies are actually investing money into this technology, because that's how I choose the stack. React is backed by Facebook, and Angular by Google. You get what I mean? So Fastify is back. Okay, good. That's a good sign. Okay, so companies.
Another company, Datadog, is like backing up another.
I know Datadog. I've been using them. Yeah, I've been using them before. Yeah.
So there is a lot of like interest around this. Like, as I said, Rust got introduced to like Linux kernel. I have heard that the Windows is using Rust as well.
Nice.
There is the adoption from the like big players. So
very good.
I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah, that is so crucial. If these big boys start putting in the money, then I'll definitely learn it as well. That's how I evaluate pretty much anything. That's if you see that, if you see the interest from the big guys, then you probably want to also put that technology under your belt. Definitely.
Plenty of tools that were like written like Java or like C++ that are currently being rewritten in Rust. Like, for example, like there is this tool called QuickWit. That's pretty much like a replacement for Elasticsearch.
Oh, really?
Apparently it's much more performance.
Let me. Can you share it in chat? I want to bookmark that and share it to others, because I've used Elasticsearch before. Actually, for quite.
But it's much more performant because it uses some like optimization from like
nice
vectorizing the operation and whatnot. There's even like an article that I've seen recently that Binance, I believe, which is like this crypto market, they have migrated from Elasticsearch to QuickWit, and they have saved like millions of dollars because of that. So
that is amazing, man. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna book because we're gonna need something like this eventually for programming networks. So actually, we're gonna use this most likely. Then that's amazing. But I need to research. Okay, cool.
yeah, it's vectorized processing SIMD included. It pretty much, I don't know what Elasticsearch technology uses, but from what I heard and from what they claim, it's
keep in mind
better.
that is always, so that is unfortunately and fortunately how the market of product works, right? Like Elasticsearch is I think, I don't know, around probably 20 years old, right? So that is same with Neo4j, same with a lot of these databases, right? So if somebody has the guts to challenge these things, right, it's they have a very high chance to actually compete with them, because
exactly.
Right, so
it's really hard to like move such a big old code base.
I mean, they would have to build essentially a new product, right? Like just with the same name, right? So but then of course there's other things, right? Like same with Oracle. If you're like, why is somebody using Oracle? Well, they're stuck with it. Why is somebody using Windows? Well, their whole organization is deeply, so people underestimate how difficult, oftentimes almost impossible it is. It's like same with Salesforce. It seems with HubSpot, it seems with these CRMs, marketing automation tools, and all of these things, not just programming. Once you're tied into that ecosystem, it's almost impossible to get out. Because same with the data store warehouses like Google, like GCP, with with what is it called, Snowflake and BigQuery and stuff. So all of these things, like these super important aspects of your stack, they're so hard to get rid of when you are like deeply integrated in them. So but yeah, let me just read I guess it's not safe to share your data with server cloud. Rust is currently great for okay, that's great. Anything else we should discuss in Luminix? This is super fun. We should have these discussions more often. Anything else you want to show us?
Oh yes, so
maybe give some advice to us who are not using Rust. Some advice for us, like maybe share your path. I guess first days were relatively I was reading the chat, relatively easy, but then I guess, so when did you hit the roadblock? When was it when you felt
so the first like big blocker was when I tried to build something that's like legit instead of like solving some
so most of the people that come to my stream, that's their problem, right? It's like, why are you not using Rust? So the only problem was building something with it. Okay.
Instead of like solving some advent of code exercises. Because you had to you get hit really hard with those new features. It wasn't about like writing some code, like not caring about borrow checker and whatnot. So that was like first big blocker. And then the other one, when I started to get into async Rust, because async Rust is, even though like the core abstraction got improved so much over time, it's still like different in many ways than how, for example, it looks in JavaScript. Even though you still have like async await syntax, but the mindset has to be slightly different because of other features.
But
when you interchange.
I want to ask about the sharing the thread. So what about deadlocks? What about what about the concurrency? What about race conditions and stuff? Because you're saying it's not really, it is truly a multi-threaded. So are they like race conditions and stuff like that you can
you can definitely get into a situation where you have race condition and deadlocks. There is a lot of tooling that so in async world you can get to race conditions and deadlocks. But in non-async world, like for example, if you just build like multi-threaded application but without asynchronous things, which is like tasks and other stuffs, all the like non-blocking IO, it's really hard to get into like race condition because Rust has this like concept of like, it is really complicated.
I remember. I remember actually. I know what you're talking about. I remember many years ago when I started when that first Rust book was related. I remember they spoke about how I don't remember exactly the concept, but how the memory management was done, and that nothing can actually borrow or use that memory once it's used by some certain thread or process or whatever. So nothing can actually take or something like that. So it was, I don't remember. I don't know if that's what you wanted to explain, but
yes. And there's on top of that, there's like certain interfaces that your types have to implement in order to be like safely sent safely sent to like another thread. So there's like another boundaries that are like you have to put on your code before you can like your variable can be like sent to like another thread to be processed or something like that.
I
So
see.
there's a lot of like ways to like mitigate that, but with asynchronous code it gets a little bit more complicated because of all the like green threads or yeah, those are green threads, I believe. Yeah, in Tokyo those are green threads for sure. I don't know about other runtimes that you like spawn and you have to like manage on in the runtime. So it's a little bit more complicated and it can like escape the like the checking mechanism that Rust has for race conditions. So there you can sometimes get into like race condition. Deadlocks are actually quite common. I mean, not quite common. They're quite common at the beginning, but there's a lot of like tools to like help you find those deadlocks. Like Tokyo, for example, has like another library that's called Tokyo Console, where you can like literally print all of the like your tasks that are currently processed, and you can see in which place, in which function it got stuck. There's like a lot of logs that allow you to like when they get logged, they like give you like all not really a stack trace, but like they give you like an error message that's helpful to you to like find out where it got stuck. So there is a lot
maybe
to do.
something try to write to the same file or whatever, right? Or yeah, but yeah, I get it. Okay, so if I'm to summarize a lot of this stuff, okay, so if I'm to summarize a few of these things, so there's actually libraries play, and I'm gonna try to summarize our discussion, and then you can correct me in a minute. So there's actually definitely libraries play a way huger role in, let's say, Rust than in the Go world, for example. So they are actually like as you explained with runtimes and stuff. That was actually mind blowing. That yeah, you can actually, and I guess these different runtimes they maybe are optimized more for certain tasks than others.
Yes, exactly. That's the whole purpose of this.
Exactly, got it. That's also amazing. Then yeah, we saw enums and we saw some features that are different and that will require a different mindset, not strictly the syntax or whatever. It's just a very different mindset of writing code, right? So that seems also something that you spoke about, that it took a while to, because it's kind of, they have built a language with some of these things that don't exist maybe, or right, not people are not exposed to them. Then you showed us there is a community and it's growing. That's amazing. And yeah, you actually elaborated that Rust is actually not supposed to be to replace C. It's actually supposed to be there alongside C++, or maybe replace. I mean, I hate to use the word replace. Nothing has to replace anything, but you more compared Rust to C++ than you did to C. Does he need to? Maybe some people are mentioning macros. Maybe you can speak a little bit about that, Numinix. I don't know if you can see it in the chat.
I have wrote like one macro. It was like so unbelievably simple, and I don't want to like write it ever again. Like macros are really complicated. Maybe one day I will get into that, but meta programming in general is.
Yeah, I mean it's the same in C++, right? So it's I mean, I'm not saying like it's the same in two languages. I just think that meta programming, like you wanted to say, is not the something that I would do in any language. So I can assume it's very similar in Rust as well.
Yes, it's. You don't want to do that unless you like absolutely have to, or you are some sort of like wizard. Like, for example, those people from Tokyo, they have like lots, like so many different macros that simplify the process. So.
Yeah. Okay, I see. Well, that's great. So yeah. So next time, Numinix, when we speak about this, you should maybe show us more of your product and maybe do a demo. I think that would be nice. If we can prepare some demo.
We should definitely do that.
Yeah, maybe get some people to try using it and stuff like that, and maybe we can build something with it.
It's
PN
actually
libraries written in Rust. I mean, yeah.
Like the good thing about
Yeah, go
our
ahead,
products
Numinix.
compared to something like Kafka is that we support like HTTP client communication. So you don't have to use like SDKs that are built by us. You can simply like do bunch of like API calls and just use it this way. So building something like even if we don't really like support your language, as long as your language has like a working HTTP client, you can really easily to integrate with us and just use our product. It's not going to be as performant as our client, but it should be like good enough to like build like a demo.
Yeah.
Demo.
Yeah. Exactly. Definitely. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it would a little bit defeat the purpose of the product, but yeah, if it's possible, that's great. I guess you still want to use your underlying stuff, right? Because it would be what is the whole thing built on HTTP on top of HTTP, or is it something else?
So we support three
TCP,
different
HTTP, okay.
protocols.
What is QI?
Quick.
What is the first protocol? What is that?
Quick.
Yeah.
It's a protocol that was developed by Google, like I don't know, in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So it's essentially supposed to like solve. You know probably about HTTP1, HTTP2, and HTTP3, right?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely, yes.
So essentially, HTTP has this problem. It's based on TCP, and its multiplexing mechanism has certain bottleneck in it that's called head-of-line blocking. I don't know if you heard about this head-of-line blocking. And Quick is supposed to solve the problem of head-of-line blocking in multiplexing, and that's the reason why they are building HTTP3 based on Quick instead of TCP.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a protocol
And
that
how did
was
you
built at
implement the
Google.
protocol? I guess you implement
Library.
I see. Okay, so I see. So but the protocol itself, it's how is it implemented in the browsers and stuff? So is it similar? It's basically similar to HTTP, you're saying, right?
Not really. It's more akin to
Because
TCP.
or maybe I can just okay, because then I need to UDP internet connection. Okay, I see. I need to Google it later,
UDP.
get some diagrams just to see what it actually. It's basically okay. Got it. Okay, nice. Interesting. Okay, cool. Alrighty. Well, does anybody has any questions? I need to. There's a lot of for us to, but it's a very interesting discussion. I think Numinix, you got us closer to liking that language for sure. Just finding.
Yeah, there was one guy asking about latencies.
And you need to get the
product.
cameraman. You need.
So
say that again. Sorry.
There was one guy in your chat asking about latency in our benchmark. So this is a thing that I have added myself recently. So we are calculating the latencies percentiles, so those P50, P90, P95, P99s, and we are calculating those for all benchmarks. And as I have mentioned, we are currently in a migration of an architecture, underlying architecture, and we have already seen with the architecture that we're trying to move on, which is the thread per core share nothing, that we have managed to optimize the P99 especially latencies by pretty much like 2 times lower compared to what we have currently on master branch. So we already think like a pretty big improvements, but that's to be expected because we based our decision to migrate based on like results of like other people using this architecture. Like for example, Red Panda. There's another product that uses that architecture. It's called SkylaDB. Maybe you've heard about it. It's the database that's used by Discord.
I personally have not SkylaDB. So it's some time-based, I guess, WebSocket-based thing, or no? What is this?
It's a NoSQL database.
NoSQL. Okay, interesting. I've never heard about this.
Yeah.
Very weird. My ego is deeply hurt now. Okay.
Yeah, so
frustrated with Cassandra, dynamic DB costs. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a few like other companies that use the thread precursor Nofig architecture for their solutions, and they seen like good success. They seen like improved end-to-end latency. So, and they have showed like actual like publications, not really like a benchmark, but like I wouldn't really call those scientific publications, but when you like publish like a paper with like bunch of diagrams and benchmarks and whatnot, that this is actually helped them quite a lot. So we are basing our assumption, and the reason why we have migrated is because of that. And we have actually like we are halfway through the migration. We already have like a working example, and when we started running our benchmarks against the our current master version that's on master and our version that's currently being migrated, we already seen like improved latency. So we have verified that ourselves. So
Nice. Nice.
they aren't really bullshitting.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, so your product will be basically on. I mean, you know, I hope that you also guys have somebody to sell it and to market it, and right, because you know, building it is just a small. Unfortunately, always has been. Building something is you know, in today's world is almost the easiest part. Selling it and marketing it and wrapping it to at least you guys will have to, right, do your best to market this to a smaller segment of companies or problems, and then of course walk backwards to you know, so have you guys thought about it? I mean, who are you gonna, because again, performance is amazing and better performance is always amazing, but it's better performance isn't a proposition value for everybody, right? So again, if you have a system that receives X amount of messages, which can arrive in 10 milliseconds or 10 minutes, then you don't really, you wouldn't say, okay, Iggy is the solution for me, right? Because that's not what, like, you get what I mean. So have you guys figured out who you're going to market this to first?
Yes, so we already have like a couple of people that are building proof of concept in their companies. So we already have some like traction. I have like mentioned this like a week ago when on your stream that we got like a guy that's a CTO from Denmark that joined our Discord, and we had like a lot of discussion with him. But our general value proposition is following. We want to build something that is performant, but at the same time is really simple to use. There's a lot of like extremely like performance solutions. Like I don't know if you heard about that thing, Aaron.
That chair seems very performant.
It's not that chair, man. Oh no, never mind. It's there.
Yeah, that chair
unfortunately
seems
they gave it the same way as a chair.
air.
It's essentially like a not really a framework, but a library that's built on top of UDP, and it's used by a lot of like, I don't know, like those financial companies that require like really high like performance and really low latency.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to like provide something that's of similar performance to this, but it's much easier to use. Like one of our founder of the product, the original creator, used to work for one of those financial companies, and they actually used this product. And he told me that setting up this product, not even setting up like the cluster, just getting this thing to run requires pretty much like a PhD. It's so unbelievably difficult to set this up. So that's our goal, is to create something that's like simple to use, not complex, but performant.
Nice. Okay, that's that. I mean, if your research tells you that a lot of existing solutions are incredibly convoluted in the sense of implementing, then absolutely that's already a massive. Basically, your selling point is better developer experience alongside, of course, with performance. Because performance, you might say, as you claimed, hey, Alex, there's already highly performant solution, so that might not be the, let's say, the number one, or maybe it is, but you know, we can do the same performance or better, but you don't have to, you know, be a PhD to figure out how to set it up, right? So that's good, yeah. That is that for sure would make me buy a software over the other, right? Like that always is, in fact, for most the CTOs, team leads, tech leads, when you're trying to implement a new technology added to your stack, is how good is the documentation, how mature it is. That's of course always hard with new products. How good is the support, and then how easy it is to implement, right? How quickly, how much resources do I have to allocate for this thing to start working for us, right? Yeah, I added the support, of course, to that basically support / documentation, right? So make sure that you guys, Luminix, have the very good documentation. It's going to be pivotal to your success of this, right? Because without super awesome, also fancy documentation, yeah, make sure
good
that
thing
that's
about
like that's bread and butter. Like
the good thing about documentation in Rust is that it's like really simple to set up, because documentation in this language is pretty much just like comments in code, and you got like a transpiler that takes those comments in code and build actual like a web UI from this. That's your documentation. So it's really simple to do it this way. But on top of that, we also have,
I think,
we have our website that's currently pretty scuffed, but we also have like a blog. So if you are interested about our journey, you can read our blog.
my microphone is muted. Sorry. So what I was saying is, so there's one thing that you need to do. So next time when we do this type of session, so you will give this product to us, because keep in mind, just we're all biased about our own product. So documentation we will review. So what you say about your documentation, nobody cares. We're gonna review your documentation, tell you, is this documentation great, right? Just as well as you review all of the shit that I push on this social network and stuff, right? So that is gonna be the best value. You're the best. You're gonna get I'm gonna try to get you a lot of value here just by asking people genuinely, right? Hey, because you're gonna send us your website and then we're gonna give you, okay, actually this is, nobody can understand this, right? Everybody can understand this, etc., etc. So don't forget to seek for that. Again, as somebody who often makes these decisions in my team and company about which technology we're going to add and what we're not going to add, one of the first things I'm generally going to look at is documentation. It's like, hey, how difficult it is this to even try, because no user is ever going to buy something and then try, right? First interaction with the tool by developers is the docs, right? And somebody's probably going to get this, try it out. If they're successful in their attempt to set it up, then they're going to talk to you to buy it, right? Or to whatever it is, right? So, Fidus, my pleasure, man. Hvala I tebi što si ovde. Thank you, man, as well. So anyway, Numinix, that's my point is, yeah, it's, you can get, we should definitely strive next time we speak about this to go through these things. And just as I did, if you remember these guys from Genesio, right? They're the sponsor now. I mean, they gave me these guys are, let me share it. So these guys became a sponsor of the stream. They gave me, right? And why did they do that? Well, because I basically gave them a lot of awesome feedback, and they gave me just literally like just like the best plan they have, just because it's good. It's always good to have an audience like this to of nerds to do that, right? Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's great. So get the camera, man. Next time we speak, you need to have the camera, dude. It's so weird just seeing me and not seeing your face. So get the camera for the next time. And of course, for the rest of you guys, if you ever have go ahead, Mix.
I will dig that camera from somewhere. It's hidden somewhere there, but I don't know yet where. I didn't have to use it for such a long time because
you just need to write a driver for. I see. Well, get it and set it up. We will talk again for sure. And the rest of you, of course, if any of you have something to discuss, sometimes let's try to keep doing these sessions time to time. I think it's fun. I think it's way more fun than just me talking to myself. So yeah, I think I hope you had fun, Dominix. I certainly did.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun
for
playing
teaching us all of these things
live on the Vision.
Yeah.
And then we should.
Chica says, I'm still waiting for my time slot for compiler tool chains. Whenever you want, dude. I mean, whenever you want, man. And yeah, it's always nice, of course. I mean, the reason why Numinex is here is because he's not just talking crap about code. He has something to show for, right? It's 9 months of work, very good work and very impressive work. So it's a 9 months of dedication and persistency, continuity, everything we speak about in this stream every single day on YouTube, on the stream, right? So that differentiates people. Some people build things and some people talk about things, and that's what we would like to see here. At least on this stream, it would be cool, right? To see people actually like this. So that's I mean, respect for that, Numinex. Well done on that. You didn't just learn a very different and difficult language for in a short time, but you also are building something quite incredible. And I'm impressed by your knowledge, man. You know a lot about seem to know a lot about protocols and about lower level stuff and stuff. That's impressive, man. That's I mean, at least based on my evaluation here, you should be able to get yourself, you and I spoke over chat when I was walking a couple of days ago. You said, oh, I was lucky to get this job that I have, but I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if you were lucky. Maybe you're being too kind to maybe yeah. You seem like very knowledgeable guy, so I respect that, man. Well done.
Yeah, the good thing about working on those stuff that you eventually learn about a lot of those like low level things. And I was like surprised how useful it is like on your day-to-day job, even if you're like working on some like web APIs. This like knowledge is like so useful when you are debugging those things when something goes wrong in like middleware or somewhere. When you get like some stack trace from like low level network stack or somewhere and nobody can decrypt it, and you look at this and this looks similar to me. I saw something similar when I was reading about TCP or something. So
yeah, for sure. And I can see that people in the chat are saying, Tech Penguin, I'm absolutely with you, man. 90% of stuff that I built in my career is also, nobody's ever going to see it because it's under NDA. So I think I agree with you. So please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that people have to have proof of their skills and carry them on their back or on their forehead, right? It's just I think it's important to build ourselves up as professionals who talk about things that we truly know, because or things that I always say, I try to not form opinions on things that I didn't use in production, because if I have used something to build a Hello World app that has no significance, and I cannot portray myself as somebody knowledgeable because I'm not, right? So until you use things and build things that somebody is using, we don't have to have opinions about these things all the time. You can have opinion for yourself, but if you spend 2 hours on a technology and already are forming this is better than this, that's ridiculous. If you never faced performance issues in your life and talk about performance, you shouldn't, because because what is the point, right? You must have heard somebody out there in Galaxy having these issues. So it's more about building a community of professionals in our industry where we can learn from each other and influence each other, but also be realistic, right? Because if we keep parroting these same things, you can see through my stream how dangerous influencers became. And I mean, many of you who've been following my stream for a long time, what type of questions we get on this stream every single day from people who barely even started programming. I mean, a couple of days ago, there was a complete beginner asking me why am I not using Kubernetes, right? I mean, that was genuinely scary, because a person that barely codes is asking about highly complex subjects and using these terms, right? So so just use Kubernetes, exactly. So it's really about again, you know how the saying goes, Penguin, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So I agree that I agree that you can and you should form opinions. You just don't have to share these opinions if you have no facts to back them up with, right? So that is very dangerous, right? You can form questions, you can compose questions, you can be You can be interested into learning things, and that is fine. But making absolute statements based on something that you never, like for example, one of the most common subjects in programming is performance, right? But I mean, 99.9% of developers, like especially if you talk about front end, you know, when front end developers, they discuss performance, right? It's like, oh, React is faster than Angular. I mean, it's almost impossible to feel these differences in so-called performance, because you really need to build an application that renders, I don't know, like hundreds of thousands of nodes or whatever to feel these. And when you ask these people, hey, what did you actually build? They send you a URL that has 2 images and 3 divs, right? So it's more about building a community of people who are not scared of saying that they don't know, right? Because the source of these influencer based opinions is just the you know, probably the feeling of, oh shit, man, I have to have opinion on all of these things because somebody is gonna think that I don't know, right? And that is dangerous, because if people keep pushing on these ideas, then, you know, we're all just talking lies to each other, right? Oh, performance, oh, scalability, and this, like, come on, man. That's but yeah, that's
Yeah, there is a lot of talk about performance in the Rust ecosystem, till the point where there is even like a meme where you got this concept of like zero copy when you like create something or transfer like a buffer from like a socket to like your user space program, that it doesn't create like any copy of the data, it's just like a move. So there is this concept of zero copy, there's this concept of zero cost, that's something like some like high level abstraction isn't like costful at all. It just compiles to like some like basic instructions. But the meme goes like this: your application has like zero copy, zero cost, but also zero users.
I mean, I remember when microservices came out, you know, it was the same memes pretty much. Like, you know, I literally remember as it was yesterday. Like, you have more microservices than users and stuff like that. I mean, look, it's you know, I try to keep this kind of community that we have with very few people honest and nice. And you know, I've learned throughout my career to base you know, to always go from business and backwards. And this is kind of something that the only thing that I ever agreed with almost Steve Jobs. He said, you know, long ago in that famous speech he had, we have to work from product back to technology, right? And you know, when I was young, when I heard that, I had no fucking clue what he meant. But as I grew as a professional, as a person, I realized that he was 100% right. And I think that type of thing, that thing that he said, should be the absolute fundamental truth from all of us. And again, this doesn't mean that quality of code and product are mutually exclusive. Quality of code should be as top-notch as possible, right? But like you just said, the reason why these memes exist is exactly because of that. Some dude is going to sit for a year building something that nobody ever is going to try, right? So wouldn't it be better if he did that for 3 months or whatever? Would it be better if that was balanced, right? Hey, let me actually try to build something if somebody wants to use. And of course, if that person is building that for the sake of its own you know, fun and feelings, whatever, and that person doesn't care, then sure. But you know, it's again, it's a job. Programming is a job, and some people, you know, younger you are and less experienced you are, maybe it's you know, you feel like a rock star, you're making money, you're writing some code, you're this and that. But fundamentally, man, it's a job like every other job, and if you want to be good at it, you have to build value, and you have to focus on the outcome. And this is the ultimate truth, right? And then does it mean that you have to write shitty code? Of course not. But it also means that you can't build a feature for 3 years, right? So it's a mixture of both worlds, right? And this is how it is. Any good CTO, any good leader of any sort is gonna tell you this. And of course, if you ever open your own company, Numinix or anyone else here, as I said so many times, what type of person would you hire, right? Somebody that gets obsessed with some of these things you mentioned, Numinix now, or somebody who's kind of, you know, just a professional. in an essence of that word, somebody who understands that both sides of the story have to work, programming, but also the business has to, hey man, we actually, we can't build Iggy for 10 years, man. We have to, make some money with it eventually, right? Because Numinex is not going to be coding for this thing for 5 years. Numinex has other things in life to do as well, right? So that is the whole philosophy, I guess.
This is something that we are going through currently as we are migrating our architecture. There's quite a few places where the code quality isn't like satisfiable for me, but we have to deliver this to the people. We have to help people use our new version of the product and see how it works for them. See if our benchmarks are actually being validated against our users' workflows, and see if this isn't we aren't just testing in some vacuum and we get some good results, but in production all of a sudden people get worse results and we have to be horror. So we will have to ship this and we'll worry about cleaning up the code once we actually have users. We'll have money to pay for salaries and all the other stuff.
It's really, I mean, that thing that you described is literally the art of product building, and I shit you not, there are teams out there that are amazing at executing that. Literally what you described sounds simple, but that's why the best product managers on the planet are paid so much, because they can decipher, they know exactly when these times are where this code that you described is fine to have, and way before. And this is what having a good product manager is so essential to the essence of the product, right? It's like they will tell you, dude, you already have way too much. Let's go. Let's find someone. Let's use it. Let's reiterate, right? Because no matter your code might be fully perfect or fully broken. You might have a perfect code that solves a problem that, nobody actually cares about, or it solves it in a way that people didn't want. So there's so many danger zones in this area when building a product. Like, it's not just will it work, it's like will it work in the way that we thought that people will want it to work, right? So yeah, for sure, man. That is the hardest part. That's why I say so many times when I build shit myself on the stream, building seems easiest today. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I mean, if you built a calculator online, literally you would be able to sell it. Today, the market is so saturated. I mean, you just showed me fucking, I don't know, 5 products like your own, and that product you're building is covers such a very special use case on the planet. Imagine how many calendar apps are there, or social platforms, or some shit like that. Probably thousands, right? So it's so hard to find a market today and sell something. It's like, especially now with AI and crap, it feels almost impossible, right? I think people are literally drowning in products. Like, if you go to, and I would urge all of you to do it, go to what is it called, Product Hunt. Just go to Product Hunt every single day, and you're gonna see thousands of incredible products. Okay, maybe not thousands, but hundreds of incredible products. Actually, maybe even thousands every single day. And you go there, amazing websites. It works. It's right. So, and each one of these are also trying to find their fit in the market, right? So this is the message I also try to share, right? Is that, yeah, you can be perfect programmer, know all of the languages, all the memory fucking management ways, all of the concurrency models, everything. But, at one point in life, you will realize that that's just one part of the story. There's other parts, selling it, marketing it, and so many other things. So, all right, guys. Numinex, I love you, man. Thank you for this. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for inviting me as well.
I hope we can do it again. Of course, do it any time. You seem like an amazing. It's actually good to hear some of you in person. Sako, if you remember the guy, he's gonna come here with his wife and kid on Thursday. Remember. So we're gonna hang out with them. But it's also good to hear your voice. Hopefully, see your face as well. And maybe some other people as well. Anyway, I gotta go. I promised my wife I'm gonna spend the evening with her, but I spend it with you assholes. So I gotta. Hopefully, she's still awake. I'm not so sure. Tech Penguin, thank you, man. Thank you for being here. Kraft, Leo, Numinex, of course, and everybody with thanks. Yeah, I need to run now, and hopefully we can have more of these. Numinex, once again, you're an amazing guy, man. Thank you very much. Nothing else.
Thank
to
you,
say.
and good night to you,
speak to
and
you.
good night to everyone.
Thank you, and good night to you, and
Yes.
good night to everyone.
Absolutely, man. Good night, everybody. Cheers. Bye bye. Good night.
Bye.